Hi, my name is Jason Palamara. I teach music technology at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. And when I'm not in the classroom or in rehearsals, I retreat to my office in the hopes of getting some work done. Unfortunately, my office has no windows and terrible lighting, which bothers me a lot. So I open the door, but that just invites all of my students to drop in and say hi. Or my coworkers will drop in and want to chat.
Hey man, how was your weekend?
When all else fails, I can shut the door, but then I get distracted by my weird office mate. Worse still, he populates his desk with all of this candy, which is as unhealthy as it is distractingly appetizing. For these reasons and so many more, I often flee to a local coffee shop and try to let the slightly distracting chatter of my fellow patrons drown out the distraction of my own brain. However, I have found that even this isn't a perfect solution, as quite often these people are too loud or their conversations are distractingly interesting. And this is why I started developing Distractifier, an excellently undistracting musical experience which is almost good enough to be real music, but intentionally falls short of producing anything so interesting that it distracts me from working on what I'm supposed to actually be working on. Here's a little bit of Distractifier's performance for you, with real coffee shop audio underneath. You can tell it's quite non-distracting. The actual music produced is a little bit like house music, which isn't unfamiliar to coffee shops, of course. There aren't any real strong melodic patterns or harmonies. The patch just sort of noodles around in a certain key. Strong melodies would be sort of distracting. Strong harmonies are distracting. But so is dissonance. And while we're at it, good house music could be distracting too. So it's not really that. The first thing I did with Distractifier was build a little patch that played white noise. It was pretty simple, but eventually I started to add fades in and out between the white noise and some other oscillators. So when you listen to Distractifier, you can hear lots of white noise coming in and out. That has remained a prominent feature throughout its development. I have developed Distractifier as a Max for Live patch so that it can work with Ableton Live, but it also works as a standalone patch in Max. Integrating it with Ableton makes a lot of sense. That's where most of my work is done otherwise. But in Live, you can drop it into a session and interact with it a little bit. It has a display right on the front that tells you what key you're in. It also tells you the time signature and some other useful information. Sorry, it tells you the tempo, not the time signature. I forgot I took that out. I mean, everything's in 4/4 anyway, right? Time signature changes are distracting. There's a tempo indicator right there in Distractifier, and if you change that, it syncs right with Ableton, which makes it pretty seamless. Underneath the hood, Distractifier is pretty interesting too. There's a swoopy thing, and oscillators. There's a bunch of oscillators, and then there's like this AI auto mixer thing I've got going on, which just establishes certain behaviors. There's like a transport object that I built, and then a bunch of other objects that establish the key signature and the key changes. On and on and on and on and on. That's pretty much Distractifier in a nutshell. If you want a copy, let me know. I'll get you a copy. It's pretty interesting. Okay, bye.
Hey, Dr. P, can I have some help?
No, go away.
Oh.